What's up, guys? Welcome back. We are on the descent down into Washington's Dulles International Airport. We're finally on the other side of the pond. This was a long flight due to that really heavy headwind. Going across, I believe I had about a 60 to 70 knot headwind the entire way across the Atlantic. So that is what has made this flight very long. So we're on the descent right now, just about to pass through 18,000 feet. So we have all of our approach stuff to start to get ready. As I was planning out the approach, we're still on the Hyper 5 arrival. We're still going for 1 center. All of that is good to go there. So I have already set it up in the FMC. So as you see, if I zoom in here, we're getting closer and closer to the airport. The airport's right about there. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down, and then we're going to go straight and then make a right turn back to the airport. So it's a kind of a down and a loop and a back up. So from here, as you can see, we're about 4,000 feet above where we really should be right now. That is totally fine because we can shoot for a pretty long downwind and then take a turn into final. So let's do a couple things right now to get ourselves set up for the approach. The first thing we're going to come do is come down to the FMC here, and we're going to get our approach stuff checked in. So we are planning for flaps 30 at about 145 knots. That's going to be our perfect approach speed. We're going to be full flaps today as well. We're going to come back up here, and I'm going to turn on our checklists, and we're going to begin our descent checklist. Maybe. There we go. All right, descent checklist. Here we go. Recall is checked. Notes are checked. Auto brake. Today we'll be using auto brake 2. I think will be just enough for us. Landing data, our VREF speed will be 145 plus 5, so our approach speed will be 150 knots, and our approach briefing is complete. I've already looked over the charts. I'll throw up the charts on screen as we go down, and also because we are coming through 18,000 feet, we are going to reset our altimeters to inches of mercury, which brings us to right about 2982. So we're still on that approach here. We're coming down. We're about to turn ourselves towards the downwind portion. So we're just going to get everything set up here, which it pretty much is. I'm not even sure what the cloud layer is right now. We just have a few at about 800 feet, so we should be good. It should be a pretty clear day. We'll start to see everything. There are a few clouds out here. I'll probably post-production try to clean up the image a little bit and try to make this generally a little bit brighter for you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off our storm lights, kind of get us back down to a more mood lighting of a scenario. And I'm probably going to give us a little bit of a shortcut here. So what if we gave ourselves a shortcut to Housel? How about that? Yeah, that would be good. All right, so we'll take a left turn here. We'll go down to Housel, which will bring us down still to 4,000 feet, 240 knots. We'll start managing that as we begin our descent, or keep going, really, on our descent down. We still have some clouds to go through. We still have a bit of weather phenomenon going on right now. It was a pretty bumpy flight, really, over JFK. So as you can see, the seatbelt sign is still stuck on right now because we had some bad turbulence, and I kind of just stuck it on for the rest of the flight. So we're going to come down here as well. So we did reset those altimeters, and that is our approach checklist complete. And what I plan to do is get ourselves once again lined up on the ILS, and then from the ILS I will take over manually and do that manual approach on down. So I know this has been a dark flight thus far. I have done a lot of daytime flying, and so this turned out to be a nighttime flight. I just wanted to see how well this type of video is going to work out for more nighttime approaches, because as we're getting into these winter months, there's not going to be a lot of daylight available in some areas as we come in to land. You can see the stars, though, as we get ourselves ready on the approach. Our approach is good. The Hyper 5 approach is an RNAV approach, so it basically has the crossing restrictions in there already for us. It has all of our waypoints in there already. It's not a really vague approach. It's a very specific precision approach, which around the Washington Dulles area is something that you need to be wary of. There are a lot of high value targets around the Washington area, so flights coming in and landing need to avoid those at all costs, including things like the White House or the big memorials. They all have pretty much like big red tape around them in the air. Of course, not really red tape, but you get the idea that you can't really fly into those zones, and you can get into some very serious trouble if that happens. So that is something we don't want to do. So something else we can set up here is our barometer. As I'm looking at the chart here, clicking out of, I believe, our ILS localizer DME 1 Charlie approach, our minimums will be 490. 490 for the approach, so we'll set that in. That's minimums for Cat 1, which we'll be executing today. We could really do a localizer too, but we're just going to do Cat 1 up to 490. Perfect, so that will be our minimums. That's the minimum altitude that we must have sight of the runway. And if we don't have sight of the runway, we need to execute a go-around and then reconsider our options. Maybe shoot for a different runway that has better CAT options with lower visibility points, or shoot for a different type of approach. But like I said, we just have a few clouds at 800 feet, which is not bad at all. I'm sorry, did I say 800? I meant 8,000 feet. Let's just have a few clouds at 8,000 feet. Wind is calm, so we can really land on whatever runway we want. I've just picked 01 today. I really haven't checked... Crap. I haven't checked what gate we need to be at. I usually try to get real-world gates, and I guess I forgot to do that. So while we're on our descent here, I'm going to pop over, and we'll see what gate it arrives at. I'm not exactly sure what gate it arrives at, so we may just kind of leave it up to whatever we can find. And I think that's what we're going to do. We'll just find some heavy gate and call it a day, I think, is what it probably will end up being. I have a general idea of where the international terminal is, I think, since they've moved it. So we'll take a mosey on around. I know some people who probably do live in the Washington Dulles area who are familiar with the airport will be all in the comments for us, telling us, well, the gate is over here. And we'll figure it out when we get on the ground. It's a simulation. It's not that important. Unfortunately, we don't have VATSIM ATC with us today, as unfortunately the event has concluded at the end of our flight here. So unfortunately, we don't get any ATC. Just get to vector ourselves down and around. So we're dropping through 8,000 feet right now, which still is 2,000 feet too high, but we're going to flick on our recognition lights, our logo lights, our wing lights, kind of get all these lights kind of going. I think I switched something here. There we go. That's what I did. To our recognition light, so people can see we're in the air. I don't think we have really any traffic around either. That's the thing. So I think our last point is Tycon. Tycon is our last point before it just goes out into a heading, and then we need to vector ourselves, which I actually want to check here. Tycon 4,240. So I think I'm just going to manually take over vertical speed 4,240. I think we actually need to be down to 3,000 by Pepper. No. Yes, Pepper is 3,900. Pepper, I don't think, is actually in. No, just Carry and Skins. So I'm going to add Pepper in, P-E-P-R-R. So we're going to add it in right about now. PEPRR. Right before carry, and that should add a point right there. Perfecto. Pepper has a crossing restriction at 3,900. And that's that initial approach fix there. So it's Pepper to carry to Skins. That's how the approach goes. So we'll intercept right before Pepper, and we should have the ILS all the way down. So everything is being managed right now via the FMC. We're still at a good speed. We are still good. We can kind of see the city down here, so you can see kind of stuff out here. We should start to see the airport soon on our approach. So that will be nice as well, and we'll get down on the ground, parked up, and all of that fun jazz. I'm always looking, of course, for suggestions in the comment section for places to go fly. I know somebody did request Washington Dulles, so I've gotten to that one. I've done a couple other videos that review requests as well. I'm just interested in flying anywhere and everywhere. So leave those comments in the comment section down below, whether they're domestic US, international flights. I'm more privy to like British Airways or Alaska Airlines or American Airlines, or there's a couple other ones out there. I think I talked about in the last video how I was thinking about doing cargo airlines, which is something not done very frequently via some of the other popular YouTubers out there. So I might do that one as well. What else could we do? We could do scenic tours. There's a couple ideas kind of roaming around in my head, but right now I do love the good old classic flight simulation video. So we're coming on down here now. We're 1,000 above, and we'll probably be flying level for maybe 10 miles. Actually, let me see. What's the intercept at Carey? Carry 29. I think we could do that. All right, so let's we'll travel at 4,000 for a while, and then about 5 miles out we'll drop it down to 3,000. I won't go all the way out to Pepper. We'll make it a short final rather than a longer final, which I think still will give us enough time though to get set up on everything. It'll just kind of be a shorter flight for you guys. So we should be about a level at the airport right now. There it is. There's the airport right there. Our right-hand window kind of loaded into frame. Fantastic. Means we're getting closer. Almost ready to land. Again, winds are calm. We're pretty much all set up to go now. We just have our landing checklist, which will be completed here in a minute. As we get set up to go. So I'm kind of planning to shoot past being about even with Carey. So what we'll do here is, here's Carey, so we'll go past this point a little bit. So we'll kind of end up coming up and around kind of at an angle, and we'll do that, and I'll kind of cross right before Carey at about 3,000 feet, which is 100 above what this wants me to be at, and we'll be fully configured pretty much in the turn right now. So we're just going to wait a little bit longer to start dropping everything because I feel like this plane can drop pretty quickly.
Seabird 293 Heavy 4000.
Seabird 293 Heavy, Potomac, welcome, runway 1 right.
1 right, 293 Heavy. 4835, contact the tower 120.1.
Alright, so we're almost there. I think I'm going to start our drop down to 3,000 feet, and we're going to slow to 220 knots. And by slowing to 220, we're going to put flaps out to 1. That, of course, is going to increase our wing and give us a little bit more lift that will enable us to fly at slower speeds while still maintaining our vertical. So slowing down now to 220. Still right on course. We're a little bit bumpy up here. You can see us kind of swaying around a little bit. I'm going to wait until we're about 3,500 to start our turn, which I think our turn will probably be ending up at about 310, I think. So we'll slow to 190 now as we enter the turn. Now we're going to take this nice right-hand turn. We're going to give ourselves another degree of flaps, and we'll come right around, and once we get out of this turn, we'll pretty much be lined up with the runway if I have done this correctly, which I hope I have.
Actually, disregard, just keep your speed for me, sir.
So because we're going to be so close, I'm going to slow more to 170 knots and give us another degree of flaps. Continue this right turn to about maybe 330. Yeah, probably 330. That'll give us a nice intercept.
There's a Pilatus 3 miles ahead.
We're slowing down to final approach speed, shows 61.
And we'll start to see the airport right over here somewhere as we come out of the turn. I'm going to arm the localizer because it's about to come alive here. And yeah, that turn to 330 is perfect. Gonna drop the gear now. Gives us a little bit more drag, helps us slow down. Also enables me to continue going flaps. Flaps, about once you get to flaps 15, you either want to be lowering that gear because that's kind of the tipping point on your flaps, is either being at flaps 15 and gear down, or if you want to go past that, your gear has to be down as well. That's kind of a safety regulatory thing. So we're kind of getting closer now, just monitoring things and kind of actually see the runway. I think that's the runway right there. But we'll wait until we get lined up. I'm kind of using my visuals here. I'm going to arm approach because we're also getting close to that diamond. So you'll see these diamonds right now start to converge. Yeah, here they are. Diamonds converging. We're turning now to come up with a localizer, and we're about stuck right there on the arrival. So now I'm going to drop another degree of flaps and slow to our final approach speed, which will be 150. And another degree of flaps now.
Thanks for the help, sir.
Alright, sir, 170 or greater to a 5-mile final going to tower. Have a good night.
Yeah, so that is the runway. Perfect. Getting ourselves lined up. I'm going to put out full flaps now. We're about 8 miles from the runway. You can see it out in front of us there. Everything will start popping into view as we get closer. We're 2,500 feet above ground, which is perfect. We're right on that glide slope. I believe our glide slope is like 2.5 degrees. I think just nice and perfect, and we'll end up manually taking control here in just a moment. Time. So flaps are coming down too full, giving us all of that lift while at our slow speed. Like I said, wind is pretty calm right now, so we don't have to really compensate for the wind. I think when I checked the METAR said it was 0 knots, so it is calm, still air, perfect for landing in. You can see there's 01 right here, 01 left, and the airport, the main airport, is right about there. So we're going to arm our speed brakes and we'll do the landing checklist. Speed brake is armed, landing gear is down, flaps are at 30. That is the landing checklist complete. We are now fully configured now for this landing. Less than 5 miles out here. I'm going to go ahead and go ahead and take over.
That's 340, maintain 2,500 until we're established cleared, ILS 1 right, 293 heading.
1,000.
Here, Potomac, United, 2009, 8.5 for 4. Yeah, 2009, Potomac, welcome, runway 1 right.
So now I'm manually flying this aircraft. Still trying to stay on the glide slope profile, keeping our speed as well. I've kept our autopilot on, so I'm just kind of now just working with my yoke to continue descent nicely, as well as stay on the center line. I know we're a little bit above, but that's okay. We'll bring it back. We'll bring it back. Bring it around town. You bring it around town, and then you do this. That's an old SpongeBob reference there. So here we go. Minimums. We'll be staying.
Back to 190, clear 4858.
50, 30, 20, 10.
Oh, we landed really hard right there. That was a bad landing rate. I did really bad. I did really bad. I know I did really bad. I was not confident in that approach. I haven't done one in a while. I'm sorry to the passengers in the back. Manual braking now. Oh, that was a hard landing. Let me check my landing rate. 660 feet per minute. Yikes. That was a hard landing. So now what we're going to do is going to get our APU on, as well as get our landing lights off. And I cannot see where we are going. I think I want to make a right-hand turn. I don't know this airport at all. We're just gonna find a gate and call it a night. Yeah, this is I remember this. Okay, we're good. I know where I'm taxiing now. The APU is running. Welcome to Washington Dulles. Albeit a little bit bumpy, but I'm glad we're on the ground. We made it. We can clean up here.
We got the 700 there, Airshow 6076. Airshow 6076, 700 there, Airshow 6076. Airshow 6076.
Flaps are going to come up. Do that. We'll get lined up with the center line here.
Back to 190, clear 4858.
So I think I want to take this next left here. This next left? Yes. No. No. This left. Bravo. We'll go down Bravo. Take a left-hand turn. So this is Flight Beam's Washington scenery, which is just a fantastic, well-detailed scenery, albeit you probably can't see it very well because it's nighttime outside. I'm gonna try to clean this up in post and make it look better in post. But for right now, it's probably all you see is kind of dark weather. We'll continue taxiing our way in right now. Oh, it's my flight tracking program being stupid. All right, there we go. All right, and I think we'll continue to taxi a little bit. The old international terminal is right here. I'm not sure if there's actually taxi or stands there, so we'll probably take a look to see if there's stands there. If not, we'll park on the right. I think, are those stands? No, those are not the correct stands, at least. So we'll come over here. I think we'll park right about there. That looks like a good parking spot. Our APU is running, so we'll get APU power.
Air Shuttle 6076, turn right heading 270 to follow regional jet.
Can we see a number on the ground for this gate number? Probably not, but we'll go for it. Alright, and here we go. Bring it in nice and slow.
About 5 miles of the regional jet turning base at 2,000 feet.
You can see the incredible detail. You can actually kind of see inside of the terminal, and we'll call right about here. Perfect. So we'll set parking brake, and we'll go ahead and turn off our engines. And as we do that, come down here to our ground connection, set our wheel chocks. We'll be using one GPU plug, actually use dual. And perfect. Come up here, switch over to our power, turn on the storm light so we can see everything, and we'll do our shutdown checklist. Yes, shutdown checklist. The hydraulic panel needs to be set, so we'll go ahead and do that. Hydraulics coming off. Fuel pumps need to come off as well. Fuel pumps checked. Parking brake is going to stay checked. Oh, we need to turn our weather radar off. And that's the shutdown checklist. So we'll also secure up everything as well. So that means turning off our ADRU, our emergency lights coming off, and we'll come all the way down on here and open our doors. Open, open, open. Open, open. Now, does it recognize we're at a gate? Maybe. Oh my gosh, it actually did. Oh, we need to turn off our lights here. Get our lights set up, taxi light off, strobe light off. So basically all we need is our nav and logo light right now. So there we go, guys. We finally made it in to Washington Dulles a little bit later than we had planned, but thank you so much, guys, for watching. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and of course leave all those comments in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Craig Miller, and I'll see you guys in our next video.
And approacher 6077 4000.
Air Shuttle 6077 Potomac, welcome runway 1 right.
1 right.